Two fake cops tried to arrest my wife right in our driveway in broad daylight in front of neighbors. 12 seconds later, both of them were unconscious on the concrete blood pooling around their faces. That scene might sound like a nightmare, but the real shock was discovering who sent them our very own HOA president. It all started on what should have been a perfect Saturday. Texas, heat, blazing smoker. Running steady, brisket. Slow cooking the way only 12 hours of patience can deliver. I had a cold beer in hand. Maria was sorting her veterinary gear, and the neighborhood felt like a Norman Rockwell painting, kids on bikes. Sprinklers running, neighbors waving as they drove past. Peaceful, too peaceful. Maria called out, her voice sharp enough to cut through the hum of cicadas. "Logan, what the hell is this?" She was holding a bright orange slip plastered to her windshield, bold red letters screaming, "Final Enforcement Notice. Arrest Authorized." I laughed at first. HOA nonsense. I figured probably about mailbox paint or grass height. But then I saw the words "arrest authorized" and my gut tightened. Who the hell prints something like that? Before I could answer, a white Ford Explorer rolled up slow and deliberate like it owned the street. Two men stepped out in matching uniforms, badges, belts, even handcuffs glinting in the sun. At a glance, they looked legit, but the details were off. Lights with no department name, badges that didn't match the fabric, nervous eyes. My training whispered what my brain didn't want to admit. These weren't cops. The tall one barked, "Dr. Perry, you're under arrest for willful violation of Austin Municipal Code 15.7. Commercial vehicles prohibited in residential zones." He had a clipboard like it made him official. The shorter one circled behind Maria, hand hovering over his cuffs, cutting off her escape. My wife backed up, fear etched on her face. She tried to steady her voice. "Officers, you need a warrant. This van saves animals' lives. You can't just..." Click. That sound. Metal closing around her wrist. The moment snapped something inside me. The laughable violation notice wasn't a prank. These guys meant to drag my wife away. I walked toward them, calm but cold. "Show me a warrant. Show me credentials. Show me anything that proves you're law enforcement." The tall one didn't flinch. "Sir, step back. This is an official action." His partner reached for Maria's other wrist. That was it. My voice dropped into the tone I hadn't used since combat zones. "Release my wife. Now." He reached for his taser instead. Wrong move. 12 seconds. That's all it took. Elbow strike straight to the nose, cartilage cracked like a gunshot. One down. Sidestep uppercut to the jaw. 3 teeth gone lights out. Both sprawled across the driveway, blood leaking into the cracks of the pavement, while Maria gasped for air. I crouched, checked their pulses automatically, muscle memory from medic training. I'd never shake. "Maria, call 911. 2 down, head trauma." My voice sounded professional, detached, but inside I was spiraling. I'd just laid out 2 men in my own yard. Even if it was self-defense, what would the neighbors say? What would the cops say when they showed up to find me standing over 2 unconscious officers? For a moment I doubted everything. Maybe I'd gone too far. Maybe this would ruin us. Detective Miller showed up, sharp-eyed, no nonsense. She studied the fake warrant, the video Maria recorded, and the phone that had fallen from one of the imposter's pockets. Texts glowed on the cracked screen. KG. Make arrest stick. Example needed. My stomach dropped. KG. I didn't need a dictionary to decode that. Kimberly Green. HOA president. Kimberly had been running our board for 2 years. Perfect hair power blazer, always preaching about preserving property values like it was a religion. But apparently she'd graduated from handing out warning letters about trash cans to hiring goons to abduct residents. And not just any residents, us. That night, Miller laid it out bluntly. Kimberly had motive money and military connections. She'd been engaged, at least online, to my fallen teammate Mark Stevens years ago. After he died overseas under my command, she found someone to blame. Me. And now she was HOA president with access to funds, neighbors, and every petty rule she could weaponize. The weeks that followed broke me down piece by piece. City inspectors showed up with complaints that didn't exist. Health department grilling Maria about her mobile vet van. HOA threats piling up about community disruption. Neighbors I thought were friends avoided my eyes. Some even reported my early morning workouts as suspicious behavior. Kimberly was painting me as a dangerous, unstable veteran. And, damn it, I started to wonder if maybe they believed it. If maybe I believed it. One night I sat on the edge of my bed, head in my hands, whispering to Maria, "Maybe she's right. Maybe I don't belong here. Maybe the neighborhood would be safer without me." I hated the weakness in my own voice. I hated that part of me wanted to pack up and run. Maria knelt in front of me, steady eyes locking onto mine. "Logan, don't you dare. You didn't fight for your country just to surrender to some bitter woman in a blazer. If we give up, she'll keep doing this to every military family she can find." Her words snapped me back. She was right. This wasn't just about us anymore. It was war, her war, and I damn well wasn't going to lose it. The turning point came when David Green, Kimberly's ex, walked into the police station with a banker's box full of receipts, contracts, and records. He'd been her hired researcher paid $1,500 a month to dig into families like mine, fabricate violations, coordinate harassment. He had 6 years of documentation showing how she'd forced 11 other military families out of their homes. Sunset Ridge was just her latest battlefield. Armed with that evidence, I walked into the next HOA meeting like it was hostile territory. 68 residents packed into the community center, tension buzzing in the air. Left side neighbors still with us. Right side, Kimberly's loyalists. The undecided in the middle holding the balance. Maria squeezed my hand. "We're fighting for every family who couldn't fight back," she whispered. Kimberly strutted in like she owned the place. Hell, she did until that night. Her presentation was slick. Photos of the 2 goons in hospital beds, bandaged and bruised. Edited audio clips of me talking about targets and eliminating threats ripped out of context to sound like I was planning violence. A psychologist on video call describing combat veterans as high risk in civilian settings. I could feel the tide turning against me, fear whispering again. What if they believe her? Then Mike Rodriguez, a neighbor I thought had folded under her pressure, stood up. He was supposed to testify against me, bought off with a promise to forgive his HOA debt. He cleared his throat, voice shaking but firm. "Mrs. Green offered to wipe what I owe if I lied about Logan intimidating neighbors. But I can't. Logan's never threatened anyone except those fake cops trying to kidnap his wife. I'll keep my debt. His friendship's worth more than her blood money." The room cracked open. One by one, others admitted how Kimberly had manipulated them. Mrs. Patterson confessed she'd been reporting my conversations thinking she was preventing violence. Bill Thompson admitted his so-called security assessments were really psychological evaluations Kimberly had tricked him into. The dominoes fell fast. And then David walked in carrying that evidence box like a nuclear weapon. He laid out contracts, payment receipts, and recordings, Kimberly's own voice talking about eliminating problematic military elements from quality neighborhoods. Her mask slipped in front of everyone. "You people don't understand," she snapped, voice shrill. "Military families bring instability. I was protecting property values. That was her mistake." The entire room erupted angry shouts, demands to vote her out. Hands shot into the air. 53-9 with 6 abstaining. Kimberly Green was officially stripped of power. She gathered her laptop, shaking but defiant. This community just made the biggest mistake of its life. Federal consequences are coming for all of you who support that violent veteran. She stormed out, spitting threats even as her empire crumbled behind her. I stood there, heart-hammering sweat dripping down my back, staring at the empty doorway she'd vanished through. After months of harassment, after fake cops, fake warrants, fake neighbors, it was over. She was done. And I leaned into this microphone's steady voice cutting through the chaos. "You picked the wrong family to mess with. We don't run. We fight. Never let fear disguise itself as authority, because sometimes the loudest voice in the room is just a bully with a clipboard.